I am a couple of days away from celebrating my 40th birthday, and I wanted to celebrate and mark the end of my 30s, and just to share a little bit about why I think your 30s are some of the best years of your life. So, my 20s were a much more fearful time. I think you're kind of catapulted into adulthood, and this is my experience anyway, and you're a little bit lost. You're trying to find your feet. You still feel like you're a teenager, you're a child, even though technically you're an adult, and you're trying to find your adult legs in the world. So even though I did really enjoy my 20s, there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of insecurities, there was a lot of minefields to navigate and to travel through. And I just felt when I turned 30, it was like a relief. It felt like a homecoming. It felt like, wow, okay, I've made it this far. I've got through that crazy decade of my 20s. And now I am spiritually more liberated. There was a sense of properly being an adult, not just walking the walk, but actually talking the talk. There was also a sense of, maybe around 35 I felt this. I did feel there wasn't a massive shift at 30. I felt 35, 36 is when my perspective started to shift, and I started to look around my life in a different view, in a different perspective. I started to appreciate even deeper. I've always been a very grateful person. Even when I was a child, when I would pray, my prayers could go on for a long time. I remember my mom saying, okay, that's enough now, because I would be like, well, if I pray for my aunt, I have to pray for my cousins, I have to pray for my uncle, I have to pray, and it just, I wanted to make sure everybody was in those prayers. So always been grateful. But there's something about your 30s where you get a deeper sense of time and being human, and that your youth is not this endless thing in front of you going on forever. There's a sense of, oh, okay, like I am actually traveling through time here. Time is actually shifting, and I don't actually have forever in this body as this person in this life. So I think there's a honing in with that. There's a tweaking. There's an extra sense of focus that comes with that, where you are better able to focus in on what is really important to you and where you want to go. And the angels talk to me a lot about this, because it's something that fascinates me, is, the experience of time, of human time, human perspective. And even when somebody's having a one-to-one session with me and the client asks for a time-related thing, when will this happen for me? Or when is the most likely time that this will happen? The angels always say, time is a human experience, and it's a human concept. It's a human perception. We don't have the human goggles on. We are not human. We are angelic, and we are not seeing it through the eyes of human time. So they can give a loose, fluid interpretation of when the most likely that fruit will grow on your tree. But at the end of the day, nothing is fated or stuck in stone. So it's up to you to create that fruit. But the point is, I think it was the first time in my life, around 35, 36, where I actually start to look through a more human lens of, oh, okay, so this isn't going to go on forever and ever and ever. Things are changing. The landscape of your life, I think, really takes a change. Not, of course, for everybody. I'm just giving my experience. There was definitely a internal landscape shift and an external shift in my mid to later 30s. I also love that, I think turning 38, 39, there was a sense of, okay, I'm really living my life for me. I'm doing this on my terms. I'm putting myself first. I'm who I'm meant to be. I'm blossoming. There was a sense of really coming into my own, coming into my skin, really connecting with the soul eyes of who I am and what my life's about. It's like like the blossom popping out of the bud. That's what I felt like in my 30s. I also felt a deeper appreciation that I didn't have for myself in my 20s and in my teens. I didn't see myself clearly. I didn't see my beauty. I didn't appreciate myself the way I do from my 30s. So if you're going into your 30s, you've all this to look forward to. You have a wealth of wisdom that awaits you. I would also say I was far more adventurous. I was pretty adventurous in my 20s in some respects now, not in what most people would call adventurous, but for me, adventurous in my 20s. But I spent an awful lot of my 20s studying spirituality, studying tarot, studying working with the angels, studying channeling, studying using my specific spiritual gifts. And I don't regret that at all, because in my 30s I was able to implement a lot of that work and study. I worked with different healers, different shamans. I paid attention to my mentors. I really gleaned a lot in my 20s, but I feel I was able to ground that and anchor that in my 30s. Definitely had a lot more adventure in my 30s. I connected more with my inner child again, and that seriousness, as I said, in my 20s. I was able to release that and to be freer in my inner child expression in my 30s. So in many ways I returned into a more childlike, youthful state in my 30s than I was in my 20s. So it just shows you nothing is linear. We're multidimensional. We're always shifting and changing. And I'm pretty excited to see what happens. I have a feeling my 40s is going to be one of my best decades. My mom said that she was dreading 40. She thought that 40 was so old at the time. And she said it turned out to be the best years of her life. I have another friend who said the same. In fact, she felt her 50s were more another time in her life that she felt really creative and really expressive and really adventurous. The biggest thing for me is liberating myself from caring what people think. I think when you're in your teens and 20s, you're obsessed with, oh, what will they think? What will they say? And it just keeps you boxed in. It keeps you locked up in a prison of your own fear, which is such a waste of life. Definitely just abandoned all that bullshit in my 30s. I really enjoyed my 30s. Yeah, I'm feeling mixed feelings. I'm feeling sentimental about letting it go, but I'm also ready for a new perspective. Your soul uses aging, I hate not even that word aging, but uses traveling through time as a way to change and shift perspective. So I remember asking the angels about that. Why do we go through so many changes and hormones and shifts and, obviously spiritual growth, but also they're saying because your soul needs and wants and actually desires a shift in perspective, and there's no better way than to move you through time and to feel those shifts so that you go, oh, hang on, I'm going to look at it from this way from now on. I'm going to go this direction. So I'd love to hear how you experienced your 30s compared to your 40s. I'd love to learn more about that, so maybe you can put something in the comments below. I wasn't sad to leave my 20s. Honestly, I was so ready. I was so over it. I've always been an old soul anyway, so it just felt like more me in my 30s to feel that maturity, kind of be more settled inside me and in my life. Yeah, it's the liberation factor of just being free to do what I want to do and put myself first. I'm finding that pretty exciting. But yeah, if you're in your 30s, I say go out, have fun, make wise choices, but make choices that bring you joy. Make choices that inspire you and that add fuel to what you're hoping to achieve and what you want to continue to live into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It shows me that you like this content. Sending you all the love as always. Have a great day.